To hear this and many more audiobooks in a podcast feed, please visit the first link in the description below. Thank you for your support. The Governance of China, Volume 3, by Xi Jinping. Audiobook, Part 8. All-round opening up. China will open even wider. Part of the keynote speech at the opening ceremony of the Boao Forum for Asia Annual Conference 2018. April 10th, 2018. Held last October, the 19th CPC National Congress ushered socialism with Chinese characteristics into a new era and drew a blueprint for turning China into a great modern socialist country in all respects. This new era of Chinese socialism marks a new chapter in China's efforts to achieve national rejuvenation and share prosperity with the rest of the world. All ages and generations have their own challenges and missions. China has come a long way, but it has to overcome new challenges on its way ahead. In this new era, the Chinese nation will continue to progress through reform. We will stay committed to advancing reform in all respects and prevail over whatever challenges may lie ahead. We will tackle long-standing problems with courage and resolve and break the impediments of vested interests to carry reform through. The Chinese people will continue to take bold steps in breaking new ground to boost development, following the people-centered development philosophy and the new development vision. We will modernize our economic system, deepen supply-side structural reform, and accelerate implementation of the strategies of innovation-driven development, rural revitalization, and coordinated regional development. We will continue to work on targeted poverty alleviation and promote social equity and justice, so that our people will have a greater sense of fulfillment, happiness, and security. The Chinese people will continue to open up further and expand cooperation. We will stay committed to the strategy of opening up for win-win results. We will pay equal attention to bringing in and going global and break new ground in opening China further through links running eastward and westward across land and over sea. We will adopt policies to effectively liberate and facilitate trade and investment and explore the opening of free trade ports adapted to Chinese conditions. The Chinese people will continue to work together with the rest of the world and make a greater contribution to humanity. China will stick to the path of peaceful development, actively pursue global partnerships, firmly support multilateralism, and take an active part in reforming the global governance system. By doing so, we will promote a new type of international relations and a global community of shared future. No matter how much progress China has made, it will not threaten anyone, attempt to overturn the existing international system, or seek spheres of influence. China will stay as determined as ever to build world peace, contribute to global prosperity, and uphold the international order. A comprehensive study of world development trajectories shows that economic globalization is an irreversible trend of our times. In line with this conclusion, I emphasized in my report to the 19th CPC National Congress that China will maintain its fundamental state policy of opening up and pursue development with its door wide open. I wish to make it clear to all that China's door will not be closed and will only open even wider. Past events prove that opening up has been key to China's economic growth over the past 40 years, and in the same vein, China can only achieve high-quality economic development in the future with greater openness. Opening up is a strategic decision made by China based on its need for development, as well as a concrete action taken by China to move economic globalization forward in a way that benefits people across the world. China will adopt the following major measures to pursue further opening up. First, we will significantly broaden market access. A number of landmark measures are to be launched this year on services and on financial services in particular. An important announcement was made at the end of last year on measures to raise foreign equity caps in the banking, securities, and insurance industries. We will ensure that these measures materialize and at the same time make more moves towards further opening, including accelerating the opening up of the insurance industry, easing restrictions on the establishment of foreign financial institutions in China, and expanding their business scope, and opening up more areas of cooperation between Chinese and foreign financial markets. On manufacturing, we have largely opened up this sector, except for a very small number of industries, such as automobiles, ships, and aircraft. Now, these industries are also in a position to open up. Going forward, we will ease foreign equity restrictions in these industries as soon as possible, automobiles in particular. Second, we will create a more attractive investment environment. The investment environment is like air, and only fresh air attracts more foreign capital. China used to rely mainly on providing favorable policies for foreign investors, but now we will have to rely more on improving the investment environment. We will enhance alignment with international economic and trade rules, increase transparency, strengthen property rights protection, uphold law-based governance, encourage competition, and oppose monopoly. We established a host of new agencies this past March, such as the State Administration for Market Regulation, as part of a major readjustment of government institutions. The purpose is to remove the systemic and institutional obstacles that prevent the market from playing the decisive role in resource allocation and enable the government to better play its role. In the first 6 months of this year, we will finish the revision of the negative list on foreign investment and implement across the board a management system based on pre-establishment, national treatment, and a negative list. Third, we will strengthen protection of intellectual property rights, IPR. This is the centerpiece of the system for improving property rights protection, and it will provide the biggest boost to the competitiveness of the Chinese economy. Stronger IPR protection is requested by foreign enterprises and even more so by Chinese enterprises. This year, we are reinstituting the National Intellectual Property Administration to strengthen the ranks of its officials, step up law enforcement, significantly raise the cost for offenders, and fully unlock the deterrent effect of relevant laws. We encourage legitimate technological exchanges and cooperation between Chinese and foreign enterprises and protect the lawful IPR of foreign enterprises in China. At the same time, we hope foreign governments will also improve protection of Chinese IPR. Fourth, We will take the initiative to expand imports. Domestic demand is the fundamental driving force for China's economic development, and it is an essential requirement for us to meet the people's growing expectation for a better life. China does not seek a trade surplus. We have a genuine desire to increase imports and achieve a better balance of international payments under the current account. This year, we will significantly lower the import tariffs for automobiles and some other products. We will import more products that are competitive and needed by our people. We will seek faster progress towards joining the WTO Government Procurement Agreement. We hope developed countries will stop imposing restrictions on normal and reasonable trade in high-tech products and relax export controls on such trade with China. This November, we will hold the first China International Import Expo in Shanghai. It is not just another expo in an ordinary sense, but a major policy initiative and commitment taken of our own accord to open up the Chinese market. Friends from around the world are welcome to participate. I wish to emphasize that with regard to all those major opening up initiatives I have just announced, we have every intention to translate them into reality sooner rather than later. We want the outcomes of our opening up efforts to deliver benefits as soon as possible to all enterprises and people in China and around the world. I am confident that with these efforts, China's financial sector will be much more competitive, our capital market will continue to enjoy healthy development, the building of a system of modern industries will accelerate, our market environment will greatly improve, and intellectual property rights will be effectively protected. In short, China will enter a new phase of opening up. 5 years ago, I put forward the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI. Since then, more than 80 countries and international organizations have signed cooperation agreements with China. The BRI may be China's idea, but its opportunities and outcomes are going to benefit the world. China has no geopolitical motives, seeks no exclusionary blocks, and imposes no business deals on others. It must be pointed out that as the BRI is a new initiative, it is perfectly natural to have different views. As long as the parties involved embrace the principle of extensive consultation, joint contribution, and shared benefits, we can surely enhance cooperation and resolve differences. This way, we can make the BRI the broadest platform for international cooperation in keeping with the trend of economic globalization and to the greater benefit of all peoples. Roll out free trade ports. Part of the speech at a gathering celebrating the 30th anniversary of the founding of Hainan Province and the Hainan Special Economic Zone. April 13th, 2018. Economic globalization is a requirement for the development of productive forces and an outcome of scientific and technological progress. It provides strong impetus for world economic growth and promotes the flow of goods. It encourages commodity and capital flow, scientific, technological, and cultural progress, and exchanges between peoples, which correspond with the common interests of all countries. At present, the world economy is still confronted by complex challenges. There is a lack of momentum for growth and a widening gap in growth. We cannot attribute these troublesome problems simply to economic globalization. Any resort to protectionism in trade and investment goes against the historic trend and will drag us back into the old era of isolation. The only sensible option is to make full use of every opportunity to deal with all challenges through cooperation. I have made it clear in the report to the 19th CPC National Congress in 2017 that China will not close its door to the world. We will only open it wider. This is a solemn commitment. China adheres to the basic national policy of opening up and pursues a mutually beneficial strategy of opening up. We abide by and maintain the world trade system and rules to make economic globalization more open, inclusive, and balanced so that it works to the benefit of all. We will make the process of economic globalization more vigorous, more inclusive, and more sustainable to ensure that different countries, people from different social strata, and different groups of people may all share the same benefits. Here, I solemnly announce that the CPC Central Committee has consented to the building of a pilot free trade zone across Hainan Island, and providing support for Hainan to explore and phase in free trade port policies and the necessary institutional framework. This is a major policy made by the CPC Central Committee after in-depth research, full consideration, and rational planning, while taking into account the needs of both domestic and international economic growth. It is also an important measure to demonstrate our commitment to opening wider to the world and promoting economic globalization. In building this zone, we should focus on institutional innovation, giving Hainan more autonomy to reform and encouraging it to be bold in experiments and to make breakthroughs in reform to build a business-friendly environment that is governed by law and up to international standards, along with a fair, open, integrated, and efficient market. We need to make greater efforts to transform government functions, further streamline administration, and delegate powers, striking the right balance and optimizing services to improve our governance capacity in all sectors. We should adopt well-conceived policies to facilitate free trade and investment and establish a management system of pre-establishment national treatment and a negative list for foreign companies. We will open the sectors of modern agriculture, new and high-tech industries, and modern services wider to the world, accelerate the development of trade-in services, protect the legitimate rights and interests of foreign investors, and gradually open up the shipping industry. The focus will be put on sectors such as seeds, medicine, education, sports, telecommunications, the internet, culture, maintenance, finance, and shipping. A free trade port represents the highest level of opening up. The Hainan Free Trade Port should display distinctive Chinese features, conform to conditions in China, and be in accord with Hainan's economic orientation. It should learn from its international peers and draw on their advanced operation models and managerial experience. We will invite investors worldwide to invest in Hainan, participate in building the free trade port, and share China's development opportunities and reform outcomes. For a global economy, open, innovative, and inclusive. Keynote speech at the opening ceremony of the first China International Import Expo, November 5th, 2018. Your Excellencies, heads of state and government, Your Royal Highness, Your Excellencies, heads of international organizations, Your Excellencies, heads of delegations, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends. In May 2017, I announced China's decision to hold the China International Import Expo, CIIE, starting from 2018. Today, After more than 1 year of preparations, and with strong support from various parties, the first CIIE is officially opened. At the outset, on behalf of the Chinese government and people, and also in my own name, I wish to express a warm welcome, sincere greetings, and best wishes to you all. The CIIE is the world's first import expo held at the national level, an innovative move in the history of global trade. China has made an important decision to pursue a new round of high-level opening up, a major new initiative to further widen market access to the rest of the world. It demonstrates China's consistent position of supporting the multilateral trading system and promoting free trade. It is a concrete action by China to advance an open world economy and support economic globalization. Under the theme of New Era, Shared Future, the CIIE will help friends from around the world to seize opportunities presented by China's development in the new era and offer a platform for us to expand international business cooperation for shared prosperity and progress. More than 3,600 companies from 172 countries, regions, and international organizations are attending the event, with over 400,000 Chinese and foreign buyers exploring business deals. The expo is utilizing a total area of 300,000 square meters. I wish all friends participating in this expo a most pleasant and rewarding experience. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, the world is going through a new round of major development, transformation, and adjustment. The economic and social well-being of all countries is increasingly interconnected. Reform of the global governance system and the international order is picking up speed. On the other hand, the world economy is going through profound adjustment, and protectionism and unilateralism are resurgent. Economic globalization faces headwinds, and multilateralism and the system of free trade are under threat. Uncertainties and instabilities still abound, and risks and challenges are growing. Living in such a complex world, we need to understand underlying trends, bolster confidence in our future through opening up and cooperation, and work together to cope with risks and challenges. All around the world, people of vision would agree that economic globalization as an irreversible trend of history has greatly boosted global growth. This is an overarching trend, something that is independent of people's will. What humanity can do is to understand and adapt to such historic trends rather than try to prevent them from happening. The wheel of history indeed will keep rolling forward no matter what. History tells us that openness and cooperation are major driving forces behind dynamic international economy and trade. The current situation calls for openness and cooperation to foster steady global recovery. Looking ahead, openness and cooperation will remain essential for continued human progress. A great vision, simple and pure, requires credible actions. Given the profound shifts in the international economic landscape, the vision for a better world for all creates a call for countries to act with greater courage and actively champion openness and cooperation in order to secure shared development. It is important for all countries to open wider and expand the space for mutually beneficial cooperation. Openness brings progress while isolation leads to backwardness. Global trade and investment are driven by the needs of countries for mutual exchange and complementarity. The history of economic cooperation and international trade testifies to the fact that, quote, economies make progress through exchange and interconnectivity and fall behind because of isolation and seclusion, end quote. Efforts to reduce tariff barriers and open wider will lead to interconnectivity and economic cooperation and global trade, while engaging in beggar-thy-neighbor practices, isolation, and seclusion will only result in trade stagnation and an unhealthy world economy. Countries need to pursue an open policy, explicitly oppose protectionism and unilateralism, and strive to raise the level of opening up at both bilateral and multilateral levels, so that we can connect our economies and build an open world economy. We need to improve macroeconomic coordination and reduce the negative spillover of national policies to jointly promote global economic growth. We need to establish a set of global economic and trade rules that is fair, reasonable, and transparent, and promote and facilitate free trade and investment to make the global economy more open through increased exchanges and integration. It is important for all countries to pursue innovative growth and speed up the transformation of growth drivers. Innovation is the premier engine for development. Only with bold innovation and reform can we break through the bottleneck in global growth. The world economy has just moved out of the shadow of the international financial crisis, but the recovery is still unstable. There is an urgent need for a concerted international effort to promote innovation in science and technology and foster new growth drivers. The well-being of humanity is the biggest driving force for this. In our interconnected global village, to share the fruits of innovation is the common aspiration and natural choice of the global community. We need to seize the opportunities presented by the new round of technological and industrial revolution, strengthen cooperation in frontier sectors such as the digital economy, artificial intelligence, and nanotechnology, and work together to foster new technologies, new industries, and new forms and models of business. It is important for all countries to pursue inclusive development for the benefit of all. As a Chinese saying goes, all flowers in full blossom make a beautiful spring. To lead a happy life is the common aspiration of people all over the world. The progress of human society requires a continued effort from all countries to further opening up, cooperation, and win-win development, and reject isolation, confrontation, and monopoly. In a world of deeper economic globalization, the pursuit of the law of the jungle and winner takes all leads nowhere. Inclusive growth for all is surely the right way forward. Countries need to rise above differences and leverage their respective strengths to pursue inclusive growth in the face of common risks and challenges. We need to implement the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development of the United Nations, reduce imbalances in global development, and make economic globalization more open, inclusive, balanced, and beneficial for all. This way, people of all countries will be able to share the benefits of economic globalization and global growth. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, the last 4 decades of reform and opening up in China have been an epic journey for the Chinese people. With determination and through self-reliance and hard work, we have forged ahead on the road to national development and progress. China has pursued development with its door open and succeeded in transforming a closed and semi-closed economy into a fully open economy. Openness has become a trademark of China. China has grown by embracing the world, and the world has also benefited from China's opening up. As I explained at the Boao Forum for Asia in April, China's economic growth over the past 40 years has been achieved with a commitment to opening up. In the same vein, a future of high-quality economic development in China can only be guaranteed by greater openness. I have made it clear again and again that China's door will never be closed. It will only open even wider. China will never waver in its effort to pursue high-quality opening up. China will never falter in its effort to pursue an open world economy. And China will never relent in its effort to pursue a global community of shared future. China will remain resolute in following a win-win strategy of opening up, adopting policies to promote and facilitate free trade and investment, and breaking new ground in opening up further through links running eastward and westward, across land and over sea. China will remain a strong advocate of openness at the global level and will continue to act as a stable engine of global growth, a huge market with enormous opportunities, and an active supporter of reform in global governance. To broaden its opening up, China will step up efforts in the following areas. First, we will tap the potential for increased imports. China's initiative to expand imports is not a choice of expediency. It is a future-oriented step to embrace the world and to promote common development. To adjust to the upgrading trend in our domestic consumption, we will take more proactive measures to increase people's incomes and purchasing power, foster new growth areas of medium and high-end consumption, continue to unleash the potential of the domestic market, and expand the scope for imports. We will take further steps to lower tariffs, facilitate customs clearance, reduce institutional costs for imports, and step up cross-border e-commerce and other new forms and models of business. China has a market of more than 1.3 billion people, and it is our sincere promise to open the Chinese market to all countries. The CIIE will be held on an annual basis and will continue to improve with better performance and more results. Second, we will continue to relax market access. The relaxation measures I announced in April are generally in place. China has shortened the negative list on foreign investment to reduce restrictions and facilitate investment. We are steadily increasing the openness of the financial sector, continuing to open up the service sector, and working towards greater openness in the agricultural, mining, and manufacturing sectors. We are accelerating opening up in areas such as telecommunications, education, medical services, and culture. In particular, the foreign equity limits are going to be eased in the education and medical service sectors, where there is both strong interest among foreign investors and a notable shortage in domestic supply. China's imports of goods and services are expected to exceed US $30 trillion and US $10 trillion, respectively, in the coming 15 years. Third, we will foster a world-class business environment. China will accelerate the formulation of foreign investment laws and regulations and make its foreign-related legal system more open and transparent. We will implement, across the board, a management system based on pre-establishment national treatment and a negative list. We respect international business rules and practices and provide equal treatment to all types of businesses registered in China. We protect the lawful rights and interests of foreign companies and are resolute in punishing those in violation of the lawful rights and interests of foreign investors, particularly intellectual property (IP) rights infringements. We will enhance the credibility and efficiency of IP examination and put in place a punitive compensation system to significantly raise the cost for offenders. Improving the business environment is an ongoing process, and there is always room for a country to do better in this regard by addressing its own problems. No country should point fingers at others to gloss over its own problems, nor should any country target the flashlight at the weakness of others only, while ignoring its own. Fourth, we will explore new heights of opening up. China will support deeper reform and innovation in its pilot free trade zones, continue to experiment with new differentiated policies and practices in these zones, and step up stress tests so as to give full play to their role as a testing ground for reform and opening up. China will waste no time in putting in place policies and institutions for building the Hainan Free Trade Port in a phased and progressive manner so as to speed up the development of free trade ports in accordance with conditions in China. This is a significant move by China to open wider to the world. It will set a new model and open up new prospects for reform and opening up at a higher level. Fifth, we will promote international cooperation at multilateral and bilateral levels. China firmly upholds the rules of the World Trade Organization, WTO, supports its necessary reform, and defends the multilateral trading system. China will strive for the early conclusion of the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, and speed up negotiations on the China-EU Investment Agreement and the China-Japan Republic of Korea Free Trade Area. China will earnestly implement the 8 major initiatives announced at this year's Beijing summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. Footnote 1. The 8 major initiatives refers to industrial promotion, infrastructure connectivity, trade facilitation, green development, capacity building, healthcare, people-to-people exchanges, and peace and security. End of footnote 1. China supports a greater role for mechanisms such as the G20, APEC, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and the BRICS in building a fairer and more equitable global economic governance system. China will continue to advance the Belt and Road Initiative through international cooperation in the spirit of consultation and collaboration for shared benefits. We will work with participating countries on major projects, set up more free trade promotion platforms, and encourage more well-established and strong Chinese companies with good reputation to invest in countries along the Belt and Road and enhance cooperation in eco-environmental protection, science and technology, culture, and in improving people's lives. In so doing, we hope to set up for the whole world a platform for open cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, the Chinese economy is on the whole stable and making further progress. During the first 3 quarters of this year, China's GDP grew by 6.7%, including 6.5% growth registered for the third quarter, meeting our growth target. Grain output for the whole year is projected to surpass 1.2 trillion yen, 600 million tons. Some 11.07 million new jobs have been created, hitting our annual goal ahead of schedule. Judged against the main economic indicators, from GDP growth, job creation, consumer prices, and international balance of payment to companies' profit margins, government fiscal revenue, and productivity, China's economy is performing reasonably well. This has given us a solid foundation for delivering the development goals for the whole year, and, compared with other major economies, China still ranks among the leaders in terms of GDP growth. So, when you talk about the future of the Chinese economy, you have every reason to be confident. The fundamentals for sound and stable growth remain unchanged. The necessary production factors for quality development remain unchanged. And the overall momentum of long-term stability and progress remains unchanged. As efforts to advance reform across the board unleash new drivers of growth, China's capacity for macroeconomic regulation is growing. With substantive progress made in advancing the Belt and Road Initiative, two-way investment and trade between China and partner countries continue to gather pace. All in all, favorable conditions are in place for the long-term healthy and steady growth of the Chinese economy. Of course, everything has two sides. The current economic situation, both at home and abroad, has created more uncertainties, more difficulties, and more risks for the Chinese economy. In general, we believe these are typical problems that tend to occur in the course of development. However, the measures we have adopted either have manifested or are manifesting positive effects. China is the world's second largest economy. We have a market of more than 1.3 billion consumers who live on a land of over 9.6 million square kilometers. To use a metaphor, China's economy is not a pond, but an ocean. The ocean certainly has its calm days, but also times of gales and storms. Without them, the ocean would not be an ocean. Gales and storms may ravage a pond, but never an ocean. Whatever the gales and storms, the ocean is still there. It is the same for China. After 5,000 years of trials and tribulations, China is still here. Looking ahead, China will always be here. I am convinced that as long as we have confidence in our strategies, advance reform and opening up in all respects, intensify supply-side structural reform, and make greater efforts to solve outstanding problems, the Chinese economy will surely make a rapid transition to quality development. The Chinese people will surely overcome all difficulties on the way forward, and the country will surely embrace a brighter future. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, every city has its character. Located at the juncture where the Yangtze River flows into the Pacific Ocean, Shanghai has been a pioneer of opening up in China. The city's development has been made possible by its open-mindedness, its competitive edge, and its bold opening up actions. Since I once worked here, I know personally just how important it is for Shanghai to be open and for China to keep the city open. Indeed, openness, innovation, and inclusiveness have become the hallmarks of Shanghai. They are also a vivid reflection of China's development and progress in the new era. To capitalize on the important role of Shanghai and other areas in China's opening up, we have made the following decisions. First, we will expand the area of China, Shanghai, Pilot Free Trade Zone with an additional section and will encourage and support the city in experimenting with bolder and more creative policies of promoting and facilitating free trade and investment so that more of its successful practices may be replicated in other parts of China. Second, we will launch a Science and Technology Innovation Board at the Shanghai Stock Exchange and experiment with a registration system for listed companies. We will also support Shanghai in cementing its position as an international financial center and a hub of science and technology innovation, and in steadily improving the fundamental institutions of its capital market. Third, we will support integrated development of the Yangtze River Delta region. We will make this a national strategy and implement our new development philosophy in earnest. We will build a modern economic system and adopt higher standards for reform and opening up. This region will develop in tandem with the Belt and Road Initiative, the Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei region, the Yangtze River Economic Belt, and the Guangdong-Hong Kong-Macau Greater Bay Area. Together, these will improve the overall framework of China's reform and opening up. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, The CIIE is an event hosted by China with the support of the WTO and other international organizations, as well as a large number of participating countries. It is not a solo performance by China, but rather a chorus by countries from all over the world. I hope that at the Hongqiao International Economic and Trade Forum, you will brainstorm ideas for reforming the global economic governance system, for jointly safeguarding free trade and the multilateral trading system, and for working together to foster an open global economy that is innovative and inclusive. Together, let us contribute to our common, determined efforts to build a global community of shared future and usher in an even better tomorrow for humanity. Thank you. Open up and cooperate towards a shared future. Keynote speech at the opening ceremony of the Second China International Import Expo, November 5th, 2019. Your Excellency, President Emmanuel Macron, Your Excellencies, Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis, and Prime Minister Anna Brnabic, Your Excellencies, Speakers of Parliament, Your Excellencies, Heads of International Organizations, Your Excellencies, Heads of Delegations, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends. In this colorful season of deep autumn, it gives me great pleasure to meet with you by the Huangpu River. I now declare the Second China International Import Expo open. On behalf of the Chinese government and people, and in my own name, I extend a hearty welcome to all of you, friends old and new, from across the world. A year ago here, the inaugural China International Import Expo was successfully held. Today, even more friends are attending the second expo with the theme of New Era, Shared Future. I do hope that you will all find this event a worthwhile and rewarding experience. At last year's expo, I announced 5 new initiatives to open China further and outlined 3 steps for Shanghai to open itself wider to the world. 1 year later, these initiatives and steps are generally in place. We have launched the Lingang Special Area, an expansion of China-Shanghai Pilot Free Trade Zone, and 6 other new Pilot Free Trade Zones across the country. The Sci-Tech Innovation Board of the Shanghai Stock Exchange has also been inaugurated, with a registration system being piloted for company listing. In the Yangtze River Delta region, a plan for promoting integrated development of the region has been adopted as a national strategy. At the national level, the foreign investment law will enter into force on January 1st next year. A management system consisting of both pre-establishment national treatment and a negative list is fully operational. Major headway has been made in increasing imports to boost consumption and in bringing down tariff levels. During my meetings with foreign leaders at last year's expo, we agreed to launch 98 initiatives. Of these, 23 have been completed, 47 are making good progress, and 28 are under implementation. Economic globalization represents the trend of history. It is just like the world's great rivers, the Yangtze, the Nile, and the Amazon, and the Danube. They all surge forward in great torrents, and nothing can stop their mighty flow, not the current of undertows or hidden shoals or rocks beneath the water. None of the problems confronting the world economy can be resolved by one country alone. We must all put the common good of humanity first. No country should place its own interests above the common interests of all. We must be more open-minded and take more effective measures and work together to make the global market bigger. We need to strengthen the mechanisms for sharing benefits with all and explore new forms of international cooperation. The goal is to create more impetus for economic globalization and remove as many impediments as we can. For this to happen, it is imperative that we take the following steps. First, we need to work together to build an open global economy through cooperation. As global value and supply chains continue to develop, countries are becoming more interconnected, with shrinking distances between countries and growing interactions among them. Differences and frictions are inevitable. The right solution to any problem lies in consultation and cooperation. All problems can be settled in the spirit of equality, mutual understanding, and accommodation. We need to promote development through opening up and enhance exchanges and cooperation. We need to stick together rather than drifting apart. We need to tear down walls rather than erecting them. We need to stand firm against protectionism and unilateralism. We need to continually bring down trade barriers, upgrade global value and supply chains, and jointly create market demand. Second, we need to build an open, innovation-driven world economy. Innovation-driven development is essential to sustaining global growth. At present, a new round of scientific and technological revolution and industrial transformation has reached a historic juncture, and major breakthroughs are within reach. Countries need to step up cooperation in innovation. We need to embed science and technology in growth and share more innovation outcomes. We need to remove barriers that hamper the flow of knowledge, technology, talent, and other factors of innovation, and support our businesses in carrying out technical exchanges and cooperation. This will fully unleash the potential for innovation. To enable humanity to benefit from knowledge and innovation, we need to tighten the protection of intellectual property, rather than stifling the flow of knowledge or creating or even widening the technology divide. Third, we need to build an open global economy for mutual benefit. We need to pursue inclusive and mutually beneficial development. We need to work together to safeguard the international order with the purposes and principles of the UN Charter at its core, uphold the fundamental values and basic principles of the multilateral trading system, facilitate free trade and investment, and make economic globalization more open, inclusive, balanced, and beneficial to all. We should strive to implement the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and increase support for the least developed countries so that the benefits of development will reach more countries and peoples. China, which has reached a new historic starting point, will open its door wider to the world. The Communist Party of China has just concluded the fourth plenary session of the 19th Central Committee. A decision has been made to uphold and improve the socialist system with Chinese characteristics and modernize the country's system and capacity for governance. Many significant measures have been announced to extend reform and opening up. China will stay true to its fundamental state policy of opening up and carry out reform, development, and innovation through opening up. This will raise opening up to an even higher level. First, China will continue to open up its market. China has a population of close to 1.4 billion, with its middle income population being the biggest in the world. The huge Chinese market has unlimited potential. There is a popular saying among us Chinese: the world is a big place and I want to see more of it. And this is what I want to say to you today. The Chinese market is so big that you should all come and see what it has to offer. China will better leverage the fundamental role of domestic consumption in fueling economic development and foster a more robust domestic market to boost growth at home and create more impetus for global growth. China will increase its imports, We will continue to lower tariffs and government-imposed transaction costs, develop demonstration zones to promote imports by innovative means, and import more high-quality goods and services from other countries. We will take steps to promote balanced growth of imports and exports, of trade in goods and services, of two-way trade and investment, and of trade and industry. By these means, we will ensure a free yet orderly flow of both international and domestic factors of production, improve efficient allocation of resources, and boost market integration. Second, China will continue to upgrade its opening up. China's opening up is pursued in multi-sectors. A new framework of all-round opening up is being put in place in our country. China will continue to encourage bold trials and experiments in pilot free trade zones and speed up the development of the Hainan Free Trade Port as the pace-setters of opening up in China. China will continue to promote the coordinated development of the Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei region, the development of the Yangtze River Economic Belt, the Yangtze River Delta region, and the Guangdong-Hong Kong-Macau Greater Bay Area. We will draw up a new national strategy for environmental protection and high-quality development in the Yellow River Basin. All these steps will boost opening up among different parts of the country. Third, China will continue to improve its business environment. A sound business environment provides the necessary conditions for enterprises to survive and thrive. On October 24th, the World Bank released its Doing Business Report 2020, which ranks China 31st, up 15 places from last year's ranking of 46th. Last month, China issued a set of regulations on improving its business environment. Going forward, China will continue to resolve major problems hindering economic development, speed up targeted reforms in key respects and fields, and modernize its system and capacity for governance to provide institutional support for pursuing high-standard opening up and high-quality development. China will continue to foster an enabling business environment that is based on market principles, governed by law, and aligned with international standards. We will give foreign investors greater market access, further cut the negative list, and improve institutions for promoting and protecting investments and for reporting information. With regard to IP protection, we will cultivate an environment that appreciates the value of knowledge, improve the legal framework, step up law enforcement, and enhance protection through both civil and criminal justice systems. Fourth, China will continue to enhance multilateral and bilateral cooperation. China remains committed to international cooperation and multilateralism. China supports necessary reform of the WTO so as to enable it to play a bigger role in promoting openness and development and make the multilateral trade regime more authoritative and effective. Later this afternoon, China will host an informal WTO ministerial meeting. We look forward to candid exchanges that will lead to joint actions to improve global economic governance. I am happy to note that yesterday, 15 countries taking part in the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership concluded negotiations on the text, and I hope the agreement will be signed and enter into force at an early date. China is ready to conclude high-standard free trade agreements with more countries. We will speed up negotiations on a China-EU investment agreement, China-Japan ROK FTA, and China Gulf Cooperation Council FTA. We will stay actively engaged in cooperation within the United Nations, the G20, APEC, and BRICS to advance economic globalization. Fifth, China will continue to pursue Belt and Road cooperation. China has now signed 197 documents on Belt and Road cooperation with 137 countries and 30 international organizations. China will follow the principles of extensive consultation, joint contribution, and shared benefits, pursue open, green, and clean cooperation, and ensure high-quality Belt and Road cooperation that is high-standard, people-centered, and sustainable. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, looking forward, China will pursue a new development philosophy and the strategy of innovation-driven development. We will redouble efforts to foster new growth drivers and create new growth momentum by shifting the growth model and improving the economic structure. We believe such efforts will bring high-quality development opportunities not only to China, but to the whole of the global economy. I have every confidence in the prospects of China's economic development. China's development, viewed through the lens of history, is an integral part of the lofty cause of human progress. China will reach out to other countries with open arms and offer them more opportunities in markets, investment, and growth. Together, we can surely achieve development for all. The Chinese civilization has always valued universal peace and harmony among nations. Let us join hands to build an open global economy and a global community of shared future. Thank you. End of audiobook, Part 8.